Would you come with me to France? We could dance on the Champs-Élysées. Let's take a chance on amour.
Good day. Welcome to Notes and Notions from the Writing Desk. I'm your host, Joanne de Simone, and I want to thank LTV East Hampton for this opportunity. It is wonderful, and for continuing the work of public access, a true essential to us all. We need it. We need to keep it thriving. And also, thank you to Jim Conlon for that beautiful intro song that you will be hearing at the end of the show as well. And I must always say hello and send my best wishes, always and ever, to Mr. Steven Spielberg, and I hope that one day you will meet my Metro cats. I think you will fall in love. I wanted to say hello to my guests today. We have Mindy Kronenberg here, poet, author, educator, brilliant, and of course Haim Mizrahi, who we all know, painter and poet, and here at LTV for over 30 years, and always grateful to him because he's invited me to his show every week since April. So welcome guests, and today is Poetry Day here at Write Notes and Notions from the Writing Desk. We have a lauded and published poet, soon to be lauded and published poet, but also an accomplished and lauded painter. Here we go. So I would like you to introduce yourself, Mindy, and say a couple of things about what you do and your work that we see here that's so lovely.
Some of it's spread out next to your
It's
own
great.
wonderful
It's
stuff.
great.
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me. This
My
is a real
honor.
pleasure. I know you, of course, through
Yes.
your education.
Yes.
That's the part of the educator in me, and I think one of the lovely things is seeing my students come into their own and
It's
be
great.
an accomplished playwright and writer yourself. So to be here is an extra pleasure for me.
Thank you.
And I teach at SUNY Empire State College, and I do workshops for poets and writers, and through BOCES 123 workshops in the community for poetry and storytelling. And I devote a lot of my time to poetry.
Yes.
Lifelong pursuit, and 40 years now.
Yes.
The time goes by really fast. And it's introduced me to a lot of wonderful people and a great larger community of poets, writers, and artists because we get together with shared visions and the aspect of nurturing the imagination and encouraging creativity, very important, and producing work and engaging each other for further
Yes.
encouragement.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
It is.
We're gonna keep, and Haim always talks about keeping poetry and getting young people interested in poetry, right?
Yeah. And also just how much we owe to our mentors. You know, I started with Steve Sedering in 1986. You know, I've been with her for 4 years. And then
Yeah.
Alan Plants, for 7 years, I met with him at my house once a week, and I filmed everything. So it was just like Kanye's bookstore, how we used to have those poetry readings religiously.
Wonderful.
Huh?
Yeah, they were wonderful.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Megan Chashki and
Yeah.
and Scott Chashki, just incredible Patricia Sweeney, and I think one of the greatest things that attracted me in staying here was the welcoming aspect of poets. I couldn't believe when I attended an open reading how much they wanted to hear what I had to say.
Yeah.
It was like, really? I think it's a good place to stay. You know, anybody that wants to hear poets and gives them a stage, that's a good reason to stay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're fortunate here,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, we talk about that. I mean, I know you don't teach young people. But we talk, you
through
do teens
BOCES.
and
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Through
oh.
BOCES, you go into the schools.
do you find that they're excited about poetry, or
They
you have
are.
to force them?
No, they are.
Good to
They
know.
are. They clamor for it.
Isn't that great
Yeah.
to know that, Haim? Because we
It's
talk about
wonderful.
that.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's a way of declaring yourself. It's a way of saying I am.
Yes.
And it's also a way of getting to know other people.
Yeah.
Just like you said, at the readings, at the open readings, we encourage people to come up. One of my favorite parts of a classroom after we have a writing exercise is to share what we've written. And some of the kids are shy, of course. They're not accustomed to doing it. But how validating when they read. Some are very eager to share because they're so proud of what they put on paper. They're excited about it. And everybody who reads, they get a little round of applause because the effort itself is cherished.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's valuable.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, Haim and I write on the air, and I guess that's the same kind of exercise.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
proud to. He's more
mentioned
proud
that to
than I
me.
am.
You write on the air. Is it timed? How do you do that?
Right on
No,
the air.
we just, you know, by now we're seasoned. I'm making her a seasoned freestyle live
It's
writer.
freestyle. and the amazing thing
But
is,
the thing is, apropos what you're saying, I believe more in language poetry, meaning that you come from purely from the language. So that's why with the kids, there's room to be playful and yet at the same time achieve depth.
Yeah.
Feeling comfortable with the language vis-a-vis poetry. You know, poetry is like yoga. You don't just like find a sign that says yoga and go and take a yoga. You know, it's a very kind of, you're not sure you belong, you know, and unless you belong. With poetry, the same, you know. You want to make sure that the kids, at least I do, coming from the language and not being bothered by tradition that is important later on, but not early in the process. Early in the process, we need to train them to value the language as the thing that provides the subject matter automatically. And therefore, we have to really be in the here and the now. And then the result of the poem will be the heavens and the space and the bottom of the ground and and the prophets and whatnot. So
yeah. And Haim and I noticed that over the months when he puts on some music and we write a poem and then we read them on the air, that for some reason, even though we don't pick a topic or just a word, we end up writing similar words in our poem. It's crazy.
Similar to each other?
Yes, he'll write something and I'll write something, and then some of the words that I write will show up in
you
his.
should give us an example. I'm sure you have a poem. Poems.
Well, I have a sample of what I have some of
Just
these
pick
that
up
we
one
wrote.
of one of the ones that you wrote on the air. Just
This is you.
It's
You
a
asked
3-minute
me.
thing, you know.
You asked me to write something about, I forgot what it was.
How about the five-liners?
The 5-liner you asked me to do, and then you did it. Well, I just wrote: turn off the TV, listen to music, close the book, turn to your lover with a passionate look. That's all, that. But then he just mentioned the word bridge, right? We said write a poem without the word bridge, because I said let's write a poem with the word bridge, and he said let's not use the word bridge. So as you could see, it was written, while the music was playing.
Right.
And it says without the word bridge, how can I describe you? Interim passage between the lovers. He stands on one side indifferent. The unknown kiss awaits in shadows. You are the word I cannot use. you are underfoot, holding me up, away from troubled water, and on and on and on. But the thing is, so he without the word bridge, but. So I would like to turn this over to the experts and ask you to read something for us. Did you write something on your way in the car? Because I know Haim. I know Haim.
As a matter of fact,
on the fly?
I'll make it very short. Just
he'll
a few
voice
short
activate
ones.
a poem on the way to the studio.
This is as fresh as can be.
Is this from today?
Yeah.
Okay. And for volume 2?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yes,
serious.
yeah,
That's true. It's true.
So this is called Sting Bleeding.
Okay.
Till you climb the rose bushes and realize the scent of pioneering a stage full of willingness to perform, till then you will seek a thorn to keep the weaving pattern of sting bleeding, and then service-oriented front will inflate the chest of proper breathing to the extent of global intimacy.
That's Haim. That's him. That's great.
Very
He's an
nice.
artist in every way. Then, Mindy, I wanted to ask you if you would like to read a poem and then tell us a little bit about what, you brought some stuff with you to
Yes.
chat about.
Yeah.
So how about reading one of your poems? Because I read them online and you'll get an idea. I think I read one of yours on the air. I might have done that.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yes, I remember you did. Yeah.
Oh, I
Well, you
did.
can-
Remember,
Yes.
we looked you up, and so read a poem for us.
Okay, I brought a few things.
Yeah, please.
This is something that came out recently. Yuyutsu Sharma, are you familiar with the poet from Nepal? Internationally known.
No,
He puts
no.
out.
No, show the book so we could see
Pratik.
the. Okay, that's great. But did you write this?
I wrote a poem that was included in a section
Oh, great.
of Long Island poets inspired by Whitman.
Oh, right. Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
it
'Cause
was
we
really
talked
thrilling
about-
to
we
be
talked
in
about-
here. I mean, Whitman has a global influence, obviously,
Okay,
right?
that's great.
So Yuyutsu was looking for poems in and around, inspired by Whitman. It didn't have to be exactly by Whitman, but I came up with this idea. It was kind of a fantasy, and he liked it, so he published it. North Shore Reverie.
Okay, right to the people. Right.
I picture Walt and Neil, the wizened, long-bearded poet under the wide-brimmed hat, the astronomer adorned in a vest of suns and stars, walking the shore at dusk, relishing the percussion of shards and pebbles underfoot, consonants of the sea's unfolding song, embedded between ribbons of seaweed snapping on the surf's tongue. Glaciers, says the astronomer, his voice a reverent music, summoning cliffs frothed from ice, climbing and receding in the briny air. His old companion whispers Algonquins, sinking footprints in the glittering sand, their tents and fires shimmering on the landscape. The atoms in your body are traceable to the stars, says the astronomer. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you, says the poet. With the swell and sway of the sound against the tusks of cliffs, our island reaches its long grasp through the effervescence of time.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah,
That's
it
wonderful.
sounds-
Thank you.
That's
But I
wonderful.
had this idea of Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Yeah, oh,
the
yeah,
astronomer,
Yeah, he's one, the astronomer.
wonderful personality, also popularizing science,
Yes.
in love with the idea of the universe, and Walt Whitman just walking along the shore.
Right.
And when I saw the quotes about the atoms and the stars, I said, wow.
Yeah,
I
what a
could just see
marriage that
yeah.
is. That's really terrific.
So that's that
That's
little
terrific.
excursion.
How about one
excursion.
more, and then we're going to ask Haim to go into his little thing there and
Sure.
roll him.
You know what? Maybe I'll since I'm holding things up, I'll explain what this is just briefly.
Yeah.
I'm involved with an ekphrastic project, an international ekphrastic project started by a Netherlands artist, Joost de Jong. There he is.
Okay.
Young man, very smitten by color. His works is dedicated to combinations of color. He's an abstract artist. This is volume 2.
Well, let's see the cover. How about it? Is that beautiful? Nice cover. Great.
And there's a volume 3 coming out, and I'm very excited about it because I have several poems in there. And they're all ekphrastic works. They're based on paintings.
Oh.
So there's one in here that I'd like to share.
Okay.
See if I can find
I
it.
am. Wow.
And it's a great exercise. I love it. I do this
Picked the
also
right day.
with my students, of taking a painting and being inspired by it, creating a new narrative for it. Here it is. So this, he sent me the painting actually. He mailed me this painting.
Okay. So you had the painting, and then you wrote the verse.
And yes, I had to come up with a poem for this.
Oh, and you had to come up for a poem. How about
Yes.
that?
Yes. Now it was a little daunting because Being abstract, it didn't have, for me, a built-in something
Theme,
tangible, a
yeah,
theme
so you
to
could-
develop a narrative on. But now I'm smitten by this process. So,
Okay, yeah, this is very exciting to do that.
so in response to this, my inner Eden.
Okay.
In the middle of winter, I conjugate spring, and the frayed edges of my woolen socks beckon sandals. My heart is a map of fields and trees. Even as the shovel's tongue swells for snow, the ground knows there are petals clinging like silken debris. A butterfly's wings quiver in the blood. Rain shivers blue on my cherished topography, humming with lullabies of red and green, singing of youth before exile, love before the flood, the sinuous hidden road to my innermost terrain.
Isn't that true?
Very
Isn't
nice.
that great?
Yes, yes. Good.
So this was
Yeah.
all just sitting with this painting for about a month
Oh, wow.
and
that's
seeing what I could
fascinating.
summon. And
Yeah.
I've done several SIDS for him, which will be in the third book, and some based on mythology, which was a very
That is-
interesting exercise.
That's really good.
Yes, thank you.
Now, as an artist, Haim, you and I are going to steal that.
Yes,
You know.
we already did.
I'll write it. I'll write. You write and you paint.
We have a few paintings there
Yes.
of mine resting against the wall, so
Yeah.
we'll utilize
Yeah,
it
I know.
tomorrow.
I know. It's wonderful.
You
So
know?
let's hear
Okay,
something
so
wonderful.
I'm just trying to find things that are the least amount of confusion, because I cannot expect people to adapt to my poetry just because I read it. This is a short one, and it will be followed
Doesn't
by a
have to be
shorter
too
one
short.
even.
Okay,
No, I'm just
no.
saying it's called Treat Me Well. Treat me well. Well, you are treated. Well, well. You deserve to be treated well. Well, maybe you are, after all, a good candidate to be treated well. Treated as should be anyone who walks the face of the earth. Treat me kindly. I am for it. Well, maybe it's just a given, should be a given. Well, the treat of century landing on my shoulders, seeking refuge from the attention on the account of being a burden for the giver's taking.
See?
So,
Was that a
and-
new one, or is that from
yeah, that's they're all new, but
fairly new? Okay.
maybe I'll read something that we wrote on the air.
Yeah, you can read.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
please.
This is called Ending Action.
Okay.
Give it a title.
Okay.
Tremble in the course of flexible mind to the matter of an inner invasion. You must be of age to cross the barrier of melting pots, of finding out the palates of the future, consumption of spiritual food, let alone the ringing of goodwill forming as they gain speed going down the avenue of you are all alone on this chapter ending section. Tell the letter writer of your love and yielding so he can write about your anger and dismay instead. Appeasements flourishing in the confusion.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, I wanted to mention these books that are here in the front. Those are your books of poetry.
No, that is Oberon magazine. I edit. I'm the poetry editor.
Oh, you're the poetry editor of that magazine.
magazine.
Oh, I misunderstood. Yeah, wow,
Yes.
that's great.
I
Now
took
we
the
know who
role
to send
on.
poems to.
Yes, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Well, we close in April.
Say again?
So we close in April for
Oh,
submission.
for the submissions.
Yeah, people can
Oh.
go online on our website and get
Okay.
more information. But it's an interesting and daunting sometimes practice being an editor. You get works, and it's not always easy to choose. You have to reject work that you like. And this is, a cautionary tale for poets. You will be rejected by certain editors. It doesn't mean that your work is not valid and doesn't have value. It's just sometimes it fits in better with what's in a manuscript that you can publish. It's so many different things. But it's always wonderful because I read works from all over the world. We get works from people who've been published for the first time in Oberon, and people who are seasoned, who've had several books out. And they all come together and fit beautifully, and there are just different voices with different visions, different styles, and it's a pleasurable activity for me. It's gratifying.
Well, I have a similar task with the Hudson River Classics Theater Festival. I'm one of the judges, and we get hundreds of plays, and we have to read them and reject people. Now, I know that feeling very well, sending my plays and work to other places, and you really you value the work, even if it's you're not going to. It's not going to win a prize or have a reading or anything like that. We value the work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't really matter.
Well, if somebody writes something earnestly, they're putting effort into it.
Exactly.
They're sincere about it. It has a mission. It's making a statement, or it's just a declaration of some sort, or it's an interesting diversion. We need these detours sometimes. We've published things in there that are incredibly lighthearted. And there are other things that have a tremendous amount of gravity, and there's room for all of that.
So it's all a blend of all different genres and
absolutely, different style poems, different length poems, a different experience on the part of the poet, but they've created something, they've crafted something that touched us somehow, made a statement, stood out, and so we felt worthy of printing. And having our readers print it, read it.
That's great.
So it's terrific to read all it, become acquainted with that.
So how about another poem by Mindy Kronenberg? How about
Sure, just ask me.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
So maybe I'll read from this.
So talk about volumes.
Talk about volumes.
Yours is going to be. That because I see you, I see the. Oh, is that yours?
No. This is an anthology, Poets to Come, Whitman's Bicentennial. This came out for the Bicentennial last year by Local Gems.
What you've written, though, aren't you going to read what you've written?
Oh, I have a poem in here.
Oh, that's what we're reading. Okay, that's what we're going to see.
I mean, you talk about daunting. To put together an anthology like this, I don't envy the editors, but this is put together by Local Gems, which is a wonderful local press. They do marvelous things. They do a lot of charitable anthologies and events. They raise money for different causes, and then they also are a significant literary force on Long Island in coming out with books like this. So I have a poem on paper, the thing that we're surrounded by, that we take for granted. But it wasn't always so available. Paper. Once a luxury, papyrus rolled into epic tales and stored in ancient libraries. Alexandria's shelves breathing against time and tension of the human heart. The world's voices gasping as they go up in smoke. Pressed from clay and pulp, reams of white paper sit in my cupboard, slip quietly through the clenched teeth of my printer, and slide out humming a lyrical utterance. Perfect ideographs of primitive urges, ziggurats piously squatting across my floor.
See?
Straight into the point.
And that's basically how it's done, right? I know. Haim asked me to write something on the air, so I'll read this, and we have a little time. It's terrible. No, not that it's terrible. It's terrible that that's how it looks. Still.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
Yes.
You should hold that up so people can see a work of art in progress with the crossouts. And
So we call this, he has to write about piling up. Yes. Those are the two words that he has. Okay. Thoughts circling, I don't know. I don't even know what I wrote. No, my God, I can't
that's
even
me.
read it. Tossed in, I don't know, tossed in storms, piling up, dreams lost, drowned in faded memories, piling up, words unsaid, muted by fear, piling up, art, dried paint on a palette, piling up, poems, letters, phrases, stepping on a ladder, piling up, the past, now, the future, smashed in a pile-up, purge the words, the thoughts, the dreams, let the oil dry in the pile-up, let it fall, clear the road. And see, it says January 16th, LTV on the air.
See that? It's
And
official.
so that's where
I
we're
wonder
going.
what was
Okay,
16.
so so about we got a little bit of time.
Did you
So
say
could you
January
do one
16th?
could you do one in less than a minute?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Here we go. January 16, you said? Where are you, baby? Come to Papa.
I like the comparison here, the modern era and almost the
Yeah.
bygone
You
era.
mean
Not
17?
quite, but the paper and the
We-
screen.
And then there's Maud.
Yeah, this is
The evolution.
and strength.
Okay.
So
Oh, we have quickly. We're
Yes.
running.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
we're running out. So quickly.
yes, and strength. And you thought the whereabout of crowd and of manners, let alone the spirit of joint effort, signaled to me the timing of great bearing sleeping through the wrinkle as it created the immediate suggestion of loss and strength and hope and constant maintenance.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I want to thank Mindy Kronenberg Haim Mizrahi.
Thank you.
Love you,
And
love
good
you.
luck with your wonderful
Thank you
show.
for being here. I look forward to sharing time again, seeing you on your show. And as always, I would like you to remember to take note that the notion of love is universal. Let your love light shine through you and touch everyone you meet. So thank you. Till next time. Ciao.
I hear the castanets are calling. They have this dance, por favor. And I don't care where we are, as long as I am there with you. 'Cause there's a place in the world for those who say I love you. And if we wish upon a star, we'll never be alone. 'Cause we could travel here and far. We could stay right here